stuff lately, just like selling stuff that he's not using.
I know. I need to do that too, and that I would love to go to that geek swap and shop. And frankly, I have the crap that I could probably just book a table.
Why don't you? How much does it cost to book a table?
I don't know.
Why don't you?
And then the thing is, though, is that I would rather not have a lot of things to swap. Like for me to get as a swap, unless I get rid of a bunch of stuff for one bigger item, and then it's less for me to take home too. But like all the honors, like I have Marvel shit, I have DC shit, I think I still have like a little like Rick and Morty puzzle, just like random stuff. I have like women's t-shirts.
Why don't you do that?
Dress. I have to actually. I can't on that day because that particular day is actually Joe's birthday, September 20th.
Right.
And he wants tacos for dinner.
To give you a good taco recipe.
Well, I'm debating on making my own tacos or buying.
Go to Aqua Taco. It's a truck, the most amazing food truck ever.
Yeah.
Their tacos are unreal.
The tacos at the Mexican place over in my area is really good.
Nice.
The tacos themselves, because they're like, they hand make their flour tortillas and stuff like that, but what I am disappointed with is their Mexican rice.
Not good.
It's frozen vegetables and like instant rice. Yeah, like you can tell it's not, like they're cutting corners there for cost, obviously.
Yeah.
And their refried beans cannot verify whether or not it's from a can.
I think we should go to Aqua Taco.
Or I might get him some tacos from.
Go to that place at Crossroads Market up near your works. Is that
I always get like the free combo meal.
And I'm recording on that other camera now.
Cool, we are live.
Spectacular.
Alright, so do we want to start a timer somewhere?
Oh, yes.
So we got an hour. So for production value,
Mm-hmm.
one of the things I would recommend, whenever you change paints, show it to the camera for a little bit. Let people see what it is. Oh, Tryon's in the chat.
Oh, nice.
Hey.
That's, my brother.
Hey, we're doing a live stream. This is Chris. We met at Games Night a few months ago. We're doing a live stream. Kale and I are doing a competition on see who can paint an Ultramarine better in an hour. So we both got our models here, and we're gonna. Yeah, that's a good. You got a good close up there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're gonna try and see who can paint these guys better.
In 1 hour. And the prize is
Bragging rights.
Yeah, bragging rights.
Yeah.
Oh, did you need one of these?
No, I'm good. I got my triple one.
Okay.
I'm running the channel, so or I'm running the live stream, so I can see the chat. Kale can't see the chat. If you have any questions for him, just let him know, and I'll get him to respond to them, or I'll read out your questions.
So
And obviously, you can hear us okay.
I'm gonna try.
Yeah, we're doing it side by side right now. So both Kale and I are using our iPhones as camcorders here. We're both in the. Here.
Gotta grab my scoop thing.
No, we're doing it together. So let me
Not in a
switch.
gay way, just
Yeah.
regular.
Okay, we gotta put the 18+ restriction on, Kale. We're actually doing it at the same time, so let me transition to a picture-in-picture in here. And you'll see that in a moment. You'll see my screen my camera now, and Kale's will be the picture-in-picture.
So yeah, starting off with Morty in blue. I don't think they even make this one anymore.
Yeah, I don't think they do. I'm gonna start off with McCraig blue.
So sweet. Play sweet, yeah.
Does he have an Emmy?
No, it isn't any. Or else
And
it's
I am going to be using a Citadel medium base brush to start off.
in.
I'm using
See it?
Citadel starter brush because I bought a starter kit today.
It's not an Emmy. It's a medium.
Little giggles. Little
Ah.
giggles. Yeah.
So water my paint down, make sure it gets nice, and
I didn't water mine down enough.
Oh, you shit on my hand a few times. Oh, yeah. Yep. Oh, for sure. The first time. It was
For the
because
timer, I
thought
just put
he
it on the
was done.
fridge, or on
So I
the
moved
fridge,
his
on
little
the
legs
stove.
like this,
oh, okay.
pushed on his
So
guts,
when the stove beeps, we'll know why.
like up my arm.
Yeah, the
and
first
like
beep
passed
will mean there's
on
1
the
minute
floor.
left.
I know, it's the only time I can laugh about being shit on.
How did you not throw up, honestly? Like,
Because it's weird. It sounds cliche, but it's exactly that. It's, you know, your mom. It's just like picking his nose and getting
Don't.
boogers out.
why are you even talking like this?
You asked.
I did not.
You did.
So we're gonna
How did I not feel?
adjust the angle a little bit. I need to bring my camera in closer.
Good enough for
I can't
you.
see you. You're painting it
Oh,
out.
jeez.
Already.
I was just selfishly
And you're
keeping
you're
it.
obscuring it pretty good with your hand.
I see your weenie.
But I mean, that's going to be the nature of how this goes. Obviously, this is a little rough because this is our first time trying this, so we're kind of learning as we go. So
The fact that you're not concerned about him peeing is weird.
Should maybe I will try to.
there we go. There's a much more up close angle of what I'm working on.
Like, kind of weird. So you go in,
Yeah, that's actually really good, Kale.
you dare do.
I'm going to go ahead and mimic that.
I hate it.
So we're switching our angles up. So
I don't remember how
camera's
big the
now
change table
directly
was
in front of
when I
us.
was on.
there you go. Now we don't have the
Like maybe they're making them shorter because
the hands in the way so much. I mean, they still are, but
You want to see what my hands look like when I paint?
yeah,
This is
exactly.
what they look like.
Exactly, and we're gonna get that no matter what we do. So,
All
Alright.
And no, I don't paint my nails. I just spray painted this guy just before we started.
yeah,
I did the technique with spraying him black and then spraying white from above where the light's going to be.
But I gotta hurry
That way I got a
before he puts his
little bit of an advantage on the lighting.
God. Nightmare.
It just makes things slightly easier later.
yeah, and I'm just doing the basics here. Right? Aren't they great?
This is only pee in this, and I'm just gonna put it in regular garbage if that's okay. Oof. And I will.
This is also a whole new experience for us, like trying to paint and record at the same time.
Yeah,
Like if I was just painting, I would have like most of this done already.
There's something wrong. Excuse me. You do. You look an eyelash on your
And
eye,
it's,
it's not uncomfortable.
It's definitely hunting for focus quite a bit. Here, let me give you Kale's angle. Kale's angle's actually a lot better.
Your mom's gonna have to help you, I think.
It's a bald person thing.
Yeah,
It's a bald person thing, yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever.
It's all the way around to the garage.
You're now on there, Kale.
Oh, okay.
Don't worry about it.
Photos with the other ones.
No, don't worry about it.
Well, and paper plates can go in recycling.
Your chin is so sticky. Why? This thing is so sticky. God.
What is?
His bib.
I know. I gotta take that off and put his own in.
So,
I have a lot more, not that I didn't before, but I have a lot more respect for people who record those painting videos now.
It is kind of annoying to.
have to work around the camera.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just because I'm taking one person into account, I'm inconveniencing my life. You're welcome, trying. If I get 10 views on this, then maybe I'll, I don't know, maybe we'll do another painting competition.
Yeah, that sounds good. So we're only going for an hour for this one, so it's kind of like it's all about efficiency here and how much you can get done quickly. And honestly, we're doing a very budget setup on this.
Very. I paid for my miniature, and that's about it.
Oh yeah. And Joe has Flex.
And Chris paid for
What's that? It's just like a little black
a few
box.
other things.
The app that we're using to stream.
I guess we bought
Oh yeah.
little
Tripods.
Stand. Yeah, tripods for our phones.
How's the video quality there, T? T is also saying we should definitely post a link on Facebook. If you haven't done that already. Kale?
I have not.
Um,
If I get out of this app, is it going to screw things up?
I will lose your camera if I... But you know what? I'll switch over to my camera here. If Kale's gonna go put the app up.
I don't even know how to post the link. How do I get the link? Oh, it's on my YouTube channel. Durr.
Durr.
Holy jeez.
So we're gonna go ahead and switch over to my camera.
And to think I was smart enough to graduate from
Oh,
college.
the quality's really good. That's good to hear.
On his arms. Sean was.
We were a little bit worried about that at first.
Arm fat.
It looks like all the audio track is going through Kale's phone, so I'm not sure what's going on there. You know what? I probably didn't add my phone as a audio device. I probably just added it as a camera. So when we transitioned off of you, we lost audio there briefly. So apologies for that. Thanks for the heads up there, T.
Downstairs, and like an hour and a half later, he comes up and apologized for.
You should be able to hear us now. I've got Kale's camera set for always on audio, regardless of which angle it's on.
So have you always done Imperial Fist, or did you like do it?
I've done a lot of chapters actually. When I first started out, I did a custom chapter that was all metallics, like every part of it. But I super washed it, so it ended up being like really dark, rather than a really bright and vibrant, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like it was almost washed to the point where it was black, and then where the light would hit would be metallic. Then I did Dark Angels chapter, so the very dark green, almost
Yeah.
black, with brighter green edging, and then I did the Black Templars chapter. And now I've ended up on Imperial Fists as my normal.
We've been doing Imperial Fist for a while.
Yeah. It's funny because actually the reading up on the Black Templars is what led me to the Imperial Fist. The Black Templars are a second founding from the Imperial Fist, so that's their origin.
I did not know.
Yeah. This video is not sponsored. I'm getting it out of the video.
Sponsored by Basement Entertainment.
Yes, exactly. I had the Dr. Pepper can right in the middle of it.
When I was in high school, I had some people who did skater videos.
Oh yeah.
And, this is back in mid-2000s. And they just said that Dr. Pepper sponsored them, and they just made themselves some Dr. Pepper hoodies. And got known as the Dr. Pepper Gang. And just because they got known as the Dr. Pepper Gang, they got suspended for being a gang.
For being a gang.
I am not exaggerating. That really happened. And Dr. Pepper did not actually sponsor them. They just wanted to appear cool.
Wow. That is hilarious.
Alright, let's go for that second thin coat.
You're on the second already. Wow, I'm halfway through the first. But I've also been messing with the switcher a lot, so I think you're going to get more done than me.
I'm okay with that. You're a better painter than I am. I need all the edge I can get.
Well, now I'm speeding up now that I know that you're already on the second coat.
You know it's a meme, but 2 thin coats does matter. Sometimes, depending on what it is, I might do 1 thick one, but...
T says Dr. Pepper Gang all the way.
Oh, what? Huh?
What size of shoes do you wear?
20.
You hear that, Nike?
I got big shoes. I don't know, 11, I think?
Okay.
That's it?
11 inches is big enough, thanks. Say something, Chris?
Yeah, I could.
It sounded like you were talking underwater.
Yeah, that's a little weird. Just slowly working away, starting to get one of the legs put in for this Marine. Again, this is the initial base coat, because unfortunately we couldn't find the blue spray anywhere. So we have to base coat all the armor in blue, because we are both doing Ultramarines chapter, which is the most commonly seen Space Marine chapter for Warhammer. But because it is because it's one that we're not the most familiar with for both of us, neither of us have really painted this chapter too much. So that way it's kind of more of a fair, even ground for both of us. Neither of us has a particular advantage on these.
Yeah, otherwise I would have done probably Imperial Fist. Imperial Fist is another really popular one.
And their armor is all yellow, so
yellow is the worst color to work with.
Yeah, yellow is notorious for being really hard to work with. So
I'd rather do white than yellow any day.
Yeah, so because that's what I paint all my guys, I would kind of have a bit of an advantage on that one. So that's why we decided on Ultramarines, even though neither of us are the biggest fan of Ultramarines, funnily enough.
Okay, you want to go back over?
picture in picture. We're going to go ahead and switch back over to Kale because I've been live for a little bit now. So we're going to go ahead and switch to his camera as the main, and I'll go to picture in picture.
Yeah, so earlier today I just grabbed one of these boxes. Has all the basic stuff to start off with. It's actually a pretty good deal.
Yeah. They weren't too bad, actually. It was, what?
$45 Canadian.
Yeah, for like 3 models and some paints and a
yeah.
brush.
Yeah, 6 paints and a brush.
Come a little bit more into the camera.
Yeah.
No, you're good there. You're good there. Yeah, it was actually not too bad of a not too bad a deal.
Reach.
I should probably finish my first thin coat before I start doing the second thin coat, shouldn't I?
Yeah. I'm almost done the second one because the second coat's always a little bit faster.
You can do it.
And just so you know, if you're not catching us here today, this video will go to video on demand after the fact. For now, we are live streaming and of course answering questions for anybody who
Their lighting's a bit better now.
Oh, much better.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're seeing your camera now. You've got your view up. Your lighting was not bad, but now it's better.
He's laughing.
Alright, so that I have finished. That's what I did for the first one, Meridian Blue. Get rid of that. I'm going to be switching to, I think this is the standard color blue.
Which one? That is McCraig. Yeah, that's the one I'm using right now.
The spare bed I was sleeping on at my dad's place. It's a little cushiony. So I put him on the bed and go, bounce. Oh, he loved that bed. Oh, yeah.
And to be honest with you, because we are on the 1 hour time limit here, I'm probably just going to focus on doing base coats for the most part. Like, I'm probably not going to go into highlighting too much. Just because it's... I'm trying to get these to what GW calls battle ready standard.
Yes.
So GW has 2 standards, and that's Games Workshop, if you don't know the name of the company. They have 2 standards for their own painting. They have what they call battle ready, which is the basic amount of colors on it. Like, it's sort of, it'll look good on a tabletop, but it's not like painting competition quality or totally finished necessarily by some of our standards. And they have what is known as parade ready, and parade ready is where you've gone in and done all the details. During this live stream here, this is kind of the first phase of this video. There will be another video following up to this where both Kayla and myself will be painting another miniature with as much time as we want. And
Yes.
basically just trying to do the best we can with it.
Some days I'm
Those will be
like,
recorded separately, so they will not be part of this live stream. But if you're interested in checking those out, those will be up on the channel later. And I will likely live stream my painting of my guy as well.
I might as well. Maybe we'll even do it at the same time. I don't know.
Yeah,
Probably
actually,
not. I don't know.
The app for live streaming that we're using, there's actually another version of it that just runs off one iPhone. So it's actually very easy to just live stream your own.
Okay.
This app that we're using right now is a little bit more complex because obviously we're switching between multiple cameras. But they have another app that's just for one source. Okay, so that's my first thin coat done finally. Kale already moved on to his second thin coat.
Finished my second coat.
Yeah, and already finished it. So I am looking pretty behind here so far. The good news is that I think I might have a slight advantage when we get to the metallics. Because like I was saying, I did a whole army of them at one point. So I have a lot of familiarity with metallic colors. And actually, I still do a whole army of them, the Adeptus Custodes, which are all gold.
Oh, yes, all gold.
So
I actually learned how to do better gold because you did custodes.
Yeah, I gave you my recipe for gold.
Yeah,
And
because
actually, I'm going to be using that here for the golden trim on the Ultramarines. So I'm just doing a second thin coat really quickly, and you'll notice my painting style is a little bit more erratic than Kale's. Kale's is a lot more methodical. I kind of hit all the places too, but he kind of does it properly, and I do it more.
there's not a proper way to do it. Everyone has their own technique. Whatever works best for you is best.
Yeah.
If you're still on me, you can switch to yourself, you know?
Oh no, we're doing picture in picture. You're on the main,
Oh.
and I'm on the secondary.
Okay.
I was on the main. I was on solo main for like a good 5-10 minutes there. So. And if there's something that you want to particularly highlight, Kale, just let me know, and I'll bring you into the full without the picture in picture.
I got nothing terribly special. Like it's blue. That's what.
Yeah, unfortunately the base coating is kind of, in my opinion, one of the least interesting stages, but most necessary. And getting it right does still take effort, because you do want to make sure these layers are nice and smooth, and you don't have brush strokes and all that stuff. I'll tell you one thing I am noticing painting Ultramarines for the first time is just how easy this blue is. Right? Like
It is.
It's not. It's nothing compared to the yellow that I'm normally painting on these guys.
Yellow is a nightmare. Anyways, I'll be right back. I'm just gonna get a.
Okay.
Stick this guy.
Okay.
Not sticking on my putty too well.
Okay, so I'm gonna switch over to me solo. Surprise. So for right now, you got, and mine unfortunately keeps seeming to focus. Or can't seem to find a steady focus, or it's constantly focusing on my hand, which is a little annoying. But that's how it is. My painting style is actually a lot more cramped. I'm resting on my forearms right now to steady the model, where normally I rest on my elbows when I'm at my home setup. So it's a little bit different for me right now. But I mean, I could still do this. I do this occasionally at home as well, but my preference is on the elbows there for sure. And that's definitely the GW method. I mean, that's just kind of how I learned. You may notice mine's a little bit different than my model's a little bit different than Kale's. I am painting a Primaris Space Marine Intercessor. He is painting a Primaris Space Marine Intercessor, the assault version. So his has the sword, and you may notice that mine's missing the backpack as well. That's just because I've left it off for painting. I've actually got it over here. So whoop, 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 everything's falling. There goes my light. That's one for the blooper reel.
I should definitely.
Sorry.
Should definitely take off my backpack as well. That's just getting in the way.
So I've got another painting base here prepped with the backpack on it. So I'll be using that to quickly base coat the backpack. And that just gives me better access to one of the panels on the back.
Yeah, it gives you better access to things that you can see but can't easily get at with a brush.
Exactly, like the shoulder pad trim would get obscured by the backpack in a normal, once it's fully assembled, I should say. So this just gives me a little bit better.
I'm gonna try Calidor Sky next. I don't know if that's gonna be a little bit too much of a change. And someone's here.
Yeah,
Oh, I should have gone with Cantor Blue first. That would have been much better.
Cantor Blue is a very, very dark black blue. So I almost wouldn't have started with that.
Some random person showed up at my door.
Yeah. We have a visitor.
What was that all about?
I don't know.
Were they dropping off food? Because I'd be like, yeah,
It wasn't
that's
food.
totally
It
mine.
was, I don't know what it was, honestly.
Yeah. I was like, do I need to move the vehicle? But then I
No.
remembered I didn't.
No, you're good.
Spot.
Cool. So that's the
Wonder if it was
backpack.
from
So this time I'm gonna remove the backpack, not on camera, so that way I don't knock the model over or everything over again. And part of the reason why I did that was just to give my blue here some time to dry.
And I'm right now doing a 50-50 mix of these. Craig
Your
and-
camera's just coming into the picture-in-picture now, so
Okay.
give it a second. And yeah, the camera sees you.
Doing a 50-50 mix of these two because I figured going from a Craig to Calidor Sky was a little bit too much of a change. So I'm just going to try a 50-50 mix. We'll see how that goes.
And here's where you're going to see our methods start to differ. Because as soon as I'm done with the second thin coat of blue, I'm going to move on to the gold.
Yeah, I usually like to get one color all said and done.
Whereas my method is more, I will do all the base coats, and then I will move on to all the layers. I'll move on to. And I like to do it that way because, and there's no right or wrong way of doing this, but I like to do it this way because for me, I find it easier to correct the any issues that I have. So for example, when I go to do the gold trim on the shoulder pad here, if I spill gold on the blue, it's easier to correct with the Craig blue than it is to correct with the layer blue.
Yes, that is one advantage of doing it your way is definitely you don't have to do all the blue stuff all over again.
Yeah.
Which kind of sucks if you're mixing. And lately I've gotten into mixing paints a lot. It gives you quite a bit of advantage in some things like I have. Am I still on the camera?
Yep.
Right.
We're doing picture in picture.
Okay, so I've got, I don't know, like 120 paints or something. But you can never have enough.
Yeah. I mean, my setup is more or less the same, but as I'm here at this location doing this, I decided to minimize my setup and the amount that I was carrying. So I did not. I brought most of my paints, but not my full setup. And you will likely see, if you follow my stream, when I go to do the other model, you will likely see my full at-home setup. So, and it is very similar to this.
Well, for your YouTube channel, what do you use to edit?
Like I say, I haven't posted any videos yet. So.
Okay. I use, I think it's called FX Films.
Okay.
It's free to use, but if you want to use any effects, or you have to like buy their packages, and you buy what you want instead of having to buy the entire editing program. And it's not as good as, you know, some top of the line ones, but for being free, it's really good, and a lot of their packages are very reasonably priced. I got one that came with like 3/4 of the packages for like 80% off or something stupid.
Oh wow.
So I emailed them and I was like, is this a subscription, or like do I actually get all this for this price?
And they were like, "Hey, you
Like,
get it."
like, yeah, we don't do subscriptions. You get all this for this price. And I was like, oh, okay. I just bought them all.
Yeah. Totally. If you can find that, then there's definitely good sources out there. Yeah, DaVinci Resolve is the one that you're recommending. I've heard of that one before. I haven't played with it, obviously, but yeah, I will check that out. Thank you. Definitely making sure to get a solid base coat on the helmet here. Oh, it's free as well, and you only have to pay for everything. It's free, and you pretty much have everything you need for editing. Sorry, I wasn't reading very well there. It's kind of crazy because whenever I look down at the live chat here, I always see all the camera feeds and all the variants of the camera feeds, and that throws me off.
Yeah, you got like 8 screens running on there at once.
Yeah, something like that. trippy whenever you look down at it. So that kind of throws me off for a second every time I do.
How much time do we have left on the timer?
1 second here and I'll check. Just finishing up this helmet layer. Alright, that's all the blues done for the main. And we have 28 minutes left.
Oh, geez.
Yep.
Still on the blue.
Hey, you're the one who wants to do multiple layers and blends.
Like I'm like beating him or something when I'm patting his back from something sometimes.
Then when I'm done the blue, everything else should go really quick.
Yeah. Just don't spill.
I am on the last package of wipes from that first box.
So like an hour.
Just opened it this morning.
So like an hour is not
I don't
a lot of time for painting one of these guys.
Dropped off.
It is not.
Especially if you're like us and you're really meticulous about your detail. That definitely makes it a challenge. If I could really speed paint, but I'm also trying to go for a little bit of quality here. Like I'm trying to avoid streaks and brush marks and similar issues, especially on these nice smooth panels that a Space Marine has. That's usually the biggest challenge with painting a Space Marine. They're often considered one of the easiest models to paint, and with good reason. But that doesn't mean that they don't get.
You can certainly make it challenging.
Yeah, there's things you can do to make it tougher, and there's some interesting stuff. Okay, I am going to move on to another color now. I am going to actually do black next, and I am going to be using the Citadel paint Corvus Black.
Yeah. All the paints I'm using are Citadel because
And
that's
was,
what I've always used.
And that was also one of the conditions of this challenge, because I do have some paints from other brands that I occasionally use. But one of the things that we want to do with this challenge is we want to level the playing field as much as we could, so it was just a comparison of our painting skills rather than who had more access to more paints. We did restrict it to Citadel. I do use Citadel 90% of the time anyway. Especially for the yellows, I have used other brands like Vallejo, and they are good products. I'm not discouraging them by any means, but I found, at least for me, the yellow was inconsistent in color. I bought 2 bottles that were supposed to be the same color, and when I put them on the model, they weren't.
That's not good.
And when you're doing yellow, that really shows up.
Yeah, sure.
That's one of the things that kind of turned me away from their stuff for now. And you are on the main again now, and I'm in the picture.
Okay. Forgot about the backpack. Alright, so one of the disadvantages to taking off the backpack and doing it separately is you sometimes forget to go back and do it.
So I am doing right now, these guys have, their armor is mostly like hard plates, but there's little flexible seals between some of the plates. And I'm going in now with the paint Corvus Black and making those that dark color and kind of rubbery joint looking stuff. I do see some areas where I messed up on the blue now, and that's starting to dry. And if this wasn't like a speed challenge, I would take some time and correct those. But right now we're just kind of going for battle ready, so I'm going for speed.
So a little bit of trivia. How much do these backpacks weigh, Chris?
Oh, I don't even know actually. But they are basically the fusion power plants for this suit of power armor. So that's what keeps them running, is the backpacks. So I would imagine they're pretty dang heavy.
I think it's like half of their weight is, or a third of their weight. I know that Space Marines are top heavy because of it.
Yeah. Now, of course, these are Space Marines are these giant, like, what, 8 foot, 9 foot,
Yeah.
super soldiers. So, in the lore, they are quite massive and incredibly strong. Of course, everybody's lore writes them to be the best. If you've ever read any of the Warhammer lore.
Yeah, they're somewhat inconsistent though about how strong or fast they are.
Yeah.
You got paint on your nose.
I'm not surprised by that. I think the black, when I opened it up, it got some of my fingers.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm not surprised about that. At least I'm not on camera right now. Don't you aim that up at me. Don't do it.
Okay.
I will cut your camera.
The good travel kids go for it.
Forever.
Yeah.
With mushrooms.
So yeah, they're interesting. And I mean, a lot of the chapters, obviously this bright blue
But now it
is not a very stealthy color, nor is the yellow of my normal army. My scouts that are bright yellow in their armor with camouflage pattern cloaks look hilarious.
They also look good because the paint job is good.
Yeah, but they do look kind of funny. I always joke that they can blend into urban environments and the sun.
Sunflower field.
Yeah, that's about the only places they could. How do we know what colors to paint? Like, is there a guide? There's a lot of great free resources out there. The box does have a guide, and the box for his did include a color guide, which he's going to show you here in a second. You'll see it on the
right there.
Yeah. So there's the color guide, and I mean it's not a hard and fast rule. In this case, because we are painting specifically Ultramarines, we are following the guide. But realistically, it's just a matter of sitting down and you can choose whatever you want to paint. Like, you can make them whatever color you want them to be, and say they are. You can make up your rules for your own army. They don't have to be specifically Ultramarines, or they don't have to be specifically, yeah. But we picked Ultramarines because Ultramarines are kind of identifiably mostly blue, and then
They also seem to be the most popular.
they are the ones that Games Workshop uses in all the marketing materials. So there's lots of imagery of them out there, so they're pretty instantly recognizable if you are familiar with the hobby.
So how long have you been painting, Chris? How many years?
About 15 now.
Okay.
So I've got quite a bit of experience doing this stuff.
Yeah, I've been painting for 18 or 19 years. When I was a kid, my dad wouldn't let me paint miniatures because, like, oh, it says on the box, you gotta be at least 13 to paint. So he thought by the time I was 13, I wouldn't want to paint miniatures anymore. He was
How wrong he was.
How wrong he was. Tens of thousands of dollars later, here I am with
Doing a live stream.
the live stream painting.
Press the button down for 30
I can't say I've spent tens of thousands of dollars, but definitely up there.
You've spent at least that much, I'm sure.
Yeah, probably. A single 10,000. But I mean, that's also.
Oh, I've also sold a lot of armies.
Yeah, and I mean that's also up to the individual. Like, there's nothing in that says you have to spend that much to play this game.
The ultimate pay to win.
Yeah, it's not one of those. Because the armies, when it comes to gameplay, there is methods for balancing what the players are bringing to the table. So it's not a case of, look, I got this new model that I bought for real money, and now I'm automatically going to win. It's, hey, I got this new model, I want to bring it, but because I'm bringing it, that means you get to bring 3 times as many guys.
I'm going to Hoeth Blue my next. This is going to be probably my final highlight, given that we're probably down to like 15 minutes, 20
Yeah,
minutes.
we're getting close.
the next step of his
Now, I'm up for doing we can compare at the end of the hour, and just kind of, I don't know if you want to try to keep going. It's up to you. I'm obviously at, this is not my place that we're filming at, so it's kind of not up to me on.
I'm going to do Temple Guard Blue. I decided Hoeth Blue was not good.
And you were asking about how do we know which colors that we're gonna paint earlier. It's also just experience too, and playing around with it. Like we've done a lot of, obviously both Kayla and I've done a lot of painting, and yeah, so we kind of developed a sense of what color we're trying to achieve and what paint we're going to use to get to that.
Yeah,
and I for one still occasionally get surprised by some techniques.
Yeah, so with my painting, I kind of got to a point of painting level that I was content with, and I've just kind of been at that for a few years now. Whereas
I'm switching over to Retributor Armor, so I'm going to start doing the gold details.
Okay. Whereas Chris, he goes to Games Workshop and hobby stores and is constantly looking for new and better techniques, different styles to paint. So his painting in the last couple of years has skyrocketed. It went from being like tabletop worthy to, wow, this is actually like better than mine. Which is why we decided to do this, because I'd be a better painter. Now I argue that he's a better painter, and we just want to see
who has the bragging rights.
Yes.
Although I don't know if we're going to get that in an hour. It's going to be very basic at the end of an hour.
Weird. It goes by age or by weight?
The formula? By age.
Now you can see here there's some damage to this model when I was building him, because I did kind of build him in a rush, so that's unfortunate, and it will show up in the paint job, but that's just kind of how it is.
I built my guy in a rush too, because I didn't have a Space Marine. We had to start this competition late because we had to run to the store so I could buy my guy.
Yeah, there's a little bit of miscommunication there. No, you don't have to pay for the workshops. Well, it depends. It depends. There's some resources online, like the Duncan Rhodes Painting Academy, which, shout out to them. I'm a big fan of their stuff. Duncan used to be a member of Games Workshop, who makes this, who has now started and branched off onto his own. His website is a subscription to get in, but he does also post free videos to YouTube on how to do this. The Games Workshop, the company who makes this, also does free in-store painting lessons.
Not right now during COVID.
Not right now during COVID, of course. But normally they do free in-store painting lessons where you can kind of go and sit down and you can, hey, we're going to learn the basics today. Or if you have a new technique that you want to learn more about, then they can kind of help you out with that. There's also a ton of free resources online. People like us who are making videos like this or with more production to it. This is obviously a live stream, so it's kind of what happens. But they do full walkthroughs and full guides of here's how I'm doing this, here's why I'm doing this. And
my personal favorite painter, like Duncan Rhodes, is really good. He's definitely one of my favorites. One of everyone's favorites, really.
Yeah.
He's very
he's not the only one I follow, but he's one of the better ones.
Squidmar is my personal favorite. He kind of came out of nowhere, and in the last year, he's gotten over, I don't know, he's a couple 100,000 subscribers now. He kind of got really big really fast. He
actually has his own Kickstarter for brushes right now that we've both backed. So they've got some really nice brushes. Also, I've got a really good view of your painting handle right now, but not so much the miniature.
I backed this painting handle on Kickstarter. And then, while it was shipping out, Games Workshop announced that they were doing their own painting handles, and I was like, damn it.
Yeah, we're using these things called painting handles. You can see mine here. Mine's a blue one with a rotating top. It's just sort of something to help our grip and to make it a little bit easier to control what the model's doing. And yeah, you don't really have to have one of these, but it's strongly recommended. GW makes some good ones. This one comes from the folks at Redgrass Games, who are based in Europe, and they make some actually really nice products. You can see their lid for their wet palette behind there. I'm using that off to the side as well. That is not in the camera view, but it's also being used.
You done? You all done? Yeah. Hi.
And those things like a wet palette, those are more advanced tools. I would highly recommend using them, especially in the local weather or the local conditions where paints dry out really quickly. But they're not a requirement; they're burning fast. Rule to have one of those. You can start out with something cheaper.
So I am switching to Abaddon Black. Right now, I am all done with my blue. And I'm not going to use the black for a whole lot, but I'm going to use it on this chain sword.
Who is that?
How much time do we have left?
And we have 13 minutes left on the timer.
Oh, jeez.
There's the farmer.
No phone for you, you're not allowed.
He's doing himself.
As you can see here, I am starting to block in the gold on my marine. I'm going to be coming onto the main camera here in a second. I'm starting to block in the gold colors. So the eagle that's on the chest plate of the marine I'm doing, as well as the trim.
Yes.
As you can see, this is more transparent than the other paints, so I will have to apply multiple coats of this paint to get the nice bright gold effect. Or nice solid gold.
Over. What, is it you that smells like Philip?
Now switching to Doom Bull Brown.
Alright.
Oh, you're switching colors quick.
Oh, I only have to do a black on the gun and the chainsword.
Oh, you're not doing the seals?
I'll be switching back to black soon.
Trigger.
Well, I'm just rushing now because we have 13 minutes and I feel like I'm only half done.
Oh, for what it's worth, I haven't done the gun or anything yet. So.
Oh, I haven't done gold yet.
Well, I'm not totally done mine either yet, so you're okay. I've only done the one shoulder pad. Oh, I made a little splodge there.
I should probably paint on the camera so you guys can see how frantic my brush strokes are getting.
Yeah.
So usually when I paint that way, I don't feel like I'm, oh geez, and I'm getting paint where I don't want it, but I can't fix it.
And then, see, that's the advantage of doing all your base coats first.
There you go.
You good? You alright?
So.
Alright, now I'm gonna be doing a highlighting with Scrag Brown.
Wow, you're highlighting even. Wow.
Alright, so I don't know how well it shows up on the camera, but I got streak marks on that because I didn't thin it out well enough. That's another reason why you thin your paints and you do 2 coats instead of one thick coat like how I just did.
Yeah, so you'll notice here that my gold looks super thin. That's intentional, because when I do my second coat, it's gonna come in a lot more solid. And that's a more preferable result to having brush strokes.
This is actually a decent brush that came in the starter set. I've used it for everything.
Really?
Yeah.
I've actually switched to a Winsor & Newton Series 7, size number 1.
Yeah, I just want to see if I can do this whole model with just the one brush.
And the Winsor & Newtons are actually some pretty fancy brushes. They're pretty common in the war gaming community. But they are definitely a more expensive brush. And that's because they are stable, which is one of the finer types of hairs of the brush.
And I've switched back to black after somebody pointed out that I forgot to paint some things.
You're welcome.
Oh.
And you can notice I'm painting upside down, which is a little weird to some people, but to me it's a little bit more comfortable to hit the bottom edge trim of that shoulder pad. I find it useful to, at least when I'm painting, to always have my brush going in a downwards motion. And that helps me with control personally. So you'll find me turning the model to weird angles so I don't have to turn my brush to weird angles. And because I have the painting handle and all that for the model, it's better to have to be establishing more control with my model than it is with the brush, right? At least in my opinion. And for my painting style, that's not necessarily how everybody's is.
Yeah, most important thing about painting is do whatever is easiest and best for you.
Yeah, and I would even argue beyond that, you have to be happy with your results. It doesn't matter what anybody else really thinks. It's nice to have the bragging rights of doing a really nice paint job and having other people acknowledge it, but as long as you're happy with the model, honestly, at the end of the day, that's ultimately what matters.
So I'm just really quickly here gonna do the eyes.
Yeah, and you could probably having a hard time seeing this, but I'm trying to get in close on the trim there to finish it out. You're doing the eyes already. Wow.
All right, so I kind of did a sloppy job on the eyes, but
Here,
that's
I'm gonna
okay.
bring you onto the main because that is actually an impressive thing.
I kind of did a sloppy job on the eyes, but I'm okay with that because I can just.
I think we lost it.
We lost me. Sabotage.
T, are you still there? If you're there, can you go ahead and send a message? My chat screen reverted, so it might just be on.
So I'm just quickly switching between red, orange, and yellow to do.
Yeah, we did lose the stream there.
Oh no.
It's so stupid. It's so true.
Yeah, the stream status changed to starting, so. It says we're live still in some of the settings, so I don't know if T can hear us or what's going on, but we'll check YouTube here in a bit. We're just about done, so we're in the last 5 minutes.
And I screwed up the eyes.
We're back.
Really shifty-eyed looking guy here.
Yeah.
So next I'm doing Balthazar Gold, since we're apparently in the last 5 minutes and I haven't done any gold yet.
No, you would know.
Oh, this is a good gold color.
Yeah, I love Balthazar.
Yeah, I just got this Balthazar Gold today when I got the starter box.
Concentrate really hard.
1 second here. I'm going to attempt to stop the stream. Yeah, we're definitely not live anymore.
Did it crash
just
because
go
we...
ahead and hold on your painting for a minute. We'll add time.
Alright. Well, I'm gonna wipe off the excess, that way I don't have a big blob.
Hey T, if you're still with us. Okay, we are live. That's interesting. So on my end, on my local end, we did appear to be offline, at least on my iPad. So we're gonna go ahead and resume our painting now. We have 5 minutes left on the timer. We will add time for that.
Yeah.
Um,
Add a few minutes for technical difficulties.
yeah, I can see your messages now, T. That was one of the features that dropped off that was indicating to us that we had the stream.
Something I'm doing on my guy, which you should not do, is I'm touching him. So I'm gonna pop this guy out, and I'm gonna put it in this thing.
And I mean, honestly, a little bit of light touch on the model is okay. You do want to make sure to avoid any wet paint, obviously, but a little bit of small touches is okay. If you're very gentle with it, you'll sometimes see me. You'll sometimes see me steadying a pinky finger against the model, and that is the 1 minute.
But we're gonna add 5 minutes when it's done.
Yeah, so we are adding 5 minutes to the timer. Because of the, like you say, it was live the whole time. However, we didn't know that, so from the stream deck, it looked like it was down. So, and actually, one of the things I noticed right away that indicated it was down was that the chat went away. So, and it went back to the hey, chat will be available here when you are streaming. So it was like, okay.
That would be interesting because
We should be streaming right now. So. I am very quickly switching to Lead Belcher. Lead Belcher is a silver paint. I am going to paint in some silver details. And that's the timer.
I will go put another 5 minutes on it.
Yeah. This is where I get a little bit of advantage to catch up for monitoring the program.
Yeah,
And
so
my advantage is gone because Kale's already back. So.
overall, I'm pretty happy with how my guy's looking so far, but he's not exactly done.
Same here, actually. I'm getting pretty close to what I would call battle ready standard. I haven't done any of the fancy highlighting. So highlighting is where you bring in the brighter colors, obviously. You can do this in multiple different ways or different techniques for applying it, depending on what kind of effect you're trying to achieve. So some people will all overlayer a brighter color, and that will bring up the whole color, obviously. Whereas if you're trying to keep like a super dark, like the Dark Angels chapter, you do what's called an edge highlight, which is where you just define the edges more. And that helps you maintain that nice dark look while still giving your armor definition or whatever you're painting more definition. I will say this this challenge is highly illuminating to how slowly I paint my Imperial Fists.
Yes, I was thinking the same thing. I usually don't feel rushed when painting my guys most of the time. Unless my wife is like, babe, let's go to bed.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, oh no, gotta wrap it up. Hello, babe.
One of the steps that you didn't see us do, either of us, is you'll notice that the armor looks kind of flat for mine. And that's because I didn't do a step known as shading. And shading is using these paints that kind of run into the recesses and help define the panel lines a lot more. I didn't do that because that process takes a very long time to dry. And I usually do it after all my base coats. So you're probably not going to see me do it on this stream, just because I'm going to be done, or we will be done the painting challenge by the time I would be getting to that. and that kind of helps. That really brings out a lot of definition. I might still do it here at the end of the stream, just to kind of show the difference. Like we'll take a picture of these models that will go in the video on demand as of the end, and then I might just hit it with a wash just to kind of show you how that would change things.
Actually, something that we could do if, what the heck is it called? If you got like a little heater, like I have a heater upstairs, put a wash on, put it in front of a heater, and it dries out in seconds.
Yeah, I usually don't like doing that method. It does work. You are correct, but I found that sometimes it can cause some weird bubbling.
That's true. Also, sometimes the like I just threw a quick wash on the chest piece here, just to make it look nice. If it dries too quick, you might get pooling in a weird spot. You won't have time to fix it or adjust it.
Yeah, and that's particularly true on very flat surfaces.
Yeah.
So you'll notice, like here on the gun that I'm painting currently, silver, it's very bright. Even though this is the darkest silver the Citadel makes, but that would be corrected for with a wash or shade rather.
All right, we have 1 minute remaining.
Okay. And when that buzzer sounds, it brushes down, regardless of if you're in the middle or not. So I'm probably gonna get caught in the middle of a layer here, honestly.
Yes, I am going to switch to dry brushing technique because it's fast and easy, and I'll know I'll be able to get this bolter done. It'll look silly if it's only half done.
Mine's gonna look silly then.
Okay,
That's it.
we're done.
Brushes down.
Pop on the backpack.
Yeah, that's allowed. Popping on the backpack because that is part of the model. So, that's further painting. So. And Kale dropped his phone with a loud scream.
A manly scream, I might add.
Yes, very manly. I think we both dropped our phone at least once during this stream.
Yes, we did.
There you go, backpack. Now I'm dropping pieces. Now the downside to leaving the backpack off is now you have to attach it, and I have damaged pieces before that were painted off the model when attaching them. Now these are push fit models because these are the easy build Space Marines. They don't require glue, but the on the regular ones you could just clip it and glue it, and that would solve a lot of your problems. So we'll have a little comparison here now. So I'm going to go ahead and transition over to Kale's camera in full, and you're getting a pretty good view there. Make sure he's in focus there, and you can see there is Kale's completed Space Marine after 1 hour.
I didn't get much on either the shoulder pads. I didn't do the the Ultramarine U there.
Yeah, I don't think I was going to get that done either.
Yeah. I didn't get the this symbol done either. I only did a really quick dry brush on the gun.
Oh, does yours actually have that sculpted in the shoulder pads? Mine does not.
No, I said afterward I was like, wait a second, that gives me an advantage, and then not as much as I thought.
It's just more detailed, I think.
The streaks that I had on here. Whoa, there we go.
Maybe pull it a little bit closer.
Streaks I had on here don't really show up as bad as I thought they might. I just did really quick highlights, so it didn't look quite so flat. Just to make this look good and nice, I just threw some blood on it. That way, I don't really have to do a whole lot of work on it. People just like, oh, cool, it's blood, and it covers up a whole lot of detail that I would normally put in. I finished the blue, the eyes. Who wants to focus on the eyes? It looks really shifty. I did not highlight that properly, and as a result, he looks like he doesn't trust anyone. He's gonna shoot his buddy.
I mean, to be fair, his head was facing winning his gun.
Yeah, no backpacks. Anyways, I did like get paint in areas that I didn't want it after I realized we were running short on time. I'm sure Chris did the same. Overall, I'm happy with the blue. I think looks really good.
Yeah, from what I can see from the stream, definitely looks very. I'm gonna go ahead and show mine to the camera now, and then we'll kind of trade and look at each other's and see how that went. So here's now going over to my camera. So you can see here mine is actually very basic done, but I did get a good portion of it done. You can hear that I got the gold on the chest and the shoulder pads done, as well as the Auspex, which is a type of like field scanner in his hand done. I did also get the seals on the back of the legs done. I did not get any of the leather pouches done. That would have been probably where I'd head next. The backpack was done on the outside in the blue. If I had more time, I probably would have done some of those vents in silver, but that's not feasible for this challenge, or at least with the time that we had. You can see that I also did the silver parts of the gun, most of them. I would have done the scope as well, some of the scope mounting in silver as well, and then I would have hit the casing, like the plastic casings on the gun in black as well to clean it up. You can see I got some of the silver on the black right at the bottom of the gun there, and that would get cleaned up as well. The skull icon near the top of the gun would also be turned gold. Once again, I did not do the eyes or anything like that. So overall, I think Kale, in my opinion, got a lot more different items done. I would say my paint job's fairly clean. I did get a little splodge there on the skull, on the chest. I know it's a little hard to see. Now, one of the things that you always want to consider when painting Warhammer is how good is it going to look, 3 feet away from you on a table, as opposed to right now where it's right up in your face. Obviously, you'll notice every little problem, but a little bit further out, you won't see as many problems. So that's kind of where we are at the end of this challenge. So obviously we'll be going back and doing another Marine. Mine will be another Intercessor. I think I'm going to do the Sergeant for mine. And that's going to actually add some interesting challenges because the Sergeant in this squad doesn't have a helmet on. So I'll have to paint skin and eyes for his. He also still has his helmet. His helmet's attached to his belt. So I'll still have to paint his helmet as well. For Ultramarines, they do their Sergeant helmets in red, so that'll be interesting to see the contrast between the blue. Once again, you notice mine looks pretty flat here in terms of the detail, and that is because of the lack of the shade. If there was more time to do a shade, I would have done that, and that would have really made the edges of the armor pop a lot more. But overall, I'm pretty happy with it.
Did you want to switch miniatures and comment on each other's?
Yeah, so we'll go ahead and switch minis. So Kale will take mine, and I'll go back over to Kale's camera, and we will let him do that first.
Yeah. So I think my miniature just looks like I got more done because I finished the blue. However, Chris did he did a better job on his gun. He didn't quite get around to finishing it. His gold is definitely a lot better than mine. His is a lot cleaner. His lines are definitely sharper than mine. I definitely overspilled in quite a few areas, especially when I started to rush. But the stuff that he did is definitely sharper than what I did. The gold is really good.
Well, thanks, Kale. Let's take a look at yours here now. So I really like what you've done with the shading on the armor. That's really nice. There's definitely some interesting detail that brings out, and it makes it look not so flat like mine does. The gold, I could see you washed it, right? Very quickly, but it did do the job. It did bring out the detail of it. I can see there's a few splotches, but not too many. And you did definitely hit a lot more things than me. You hit you got the eyes done, and you got. I do like that you added a little bit of blood for the blood god, which is the name of the paint, to the sword. That definitely does draw some interest. And you did get the leather pouches done. I did like how that turned out. Overall, very, very nice job. I do like the dry brushing on the bolter. That is a good way to get it done very quickly. So there's the bolter, just giving you a nice close up there. So he used a technique called dry brushing, which is kind of what it sounds like, where you put some paint on your brush and you wipe most of it off on a piece of paper towel or other rough surface, and you quickly move it over the model so it catches all the raised details. So you can see here how that really helped on a thing like the bolter, where it's got a lot of raised details and recesses, and it really helps that pop.
What I would usually do, I usually dry brush my bolters, and then on the large flat areas, I paint that black again.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I would usually do, but obviously we ran short of time.
Yeah. So you can see the gold here. While it's not as bright as mine, and that's very much due to the shade, you can see the shape a lot more. You can see the shape of the emblem a lot more. So that's quite interesting. That's a fun challenge. I kind of like that.
Yeah, I enjoyed that quite a bit.
So I'll go ahead and take it back over to Kale's camera now. I don't know if there's anything you want to do to outro your video, because we're pretty much done for this live stream.
Thank you everyone who ended up joining us for this, and if you guys enjoyed this and want to see us do something else, if you have a specific miniature that is not going to cost us $100 each,
unless you're willing to buy it.
Unless you're willing to buy it, no. Let us know if there's certain things that you want us to do, like maybe contrasts only, or actually maybe not. I only have like 5 contrasts.
Oh, I've got it like all of them. So.
Okay. Or like dry brushes only, or like some weird technique. We can certainly give that a try, and that might be a lot of fun.
Yeah. Like for this one, we definitely said we want to do some Citadel. We want to do Citadel only and kind of level the playing field as much as we could. So there wasn't so much variance in the different paints. We were both using the same paints, roughly the same brushes.
Actually, Squidmar, for one of his lives, they would have every 20 minutes they would pull out a random thing out of a hat.
I saw that random color. That would be interesting to do.
Yeah, or random color, or like fine detail only, or like brush only, just like all these random different things. So we could certainly, and I'll look into that if people want it.
Yeah.
But other than that, I think we're done.
Cool. Well, like Kale said there, thank you everybody for joining us. Have a good rest of your day and stay safe out there with COVID.
We did not wear masks. We should have.
Probably, but I think we're about 2 meters apart, probably. Close.
Well, neither of us have sneezed or coughed.
Yeah.
I think we're okay.